Hi, Tom Bialik with the Munster Chamber of Commerce with you one more time for another episode of Munster Chamber Chat. Today we're at Midwest Orthopaedics at Rush, but we're right here in Munster, Indiana. And today our guest is Dr. Robert Wysocki. Doctor, thank you for joining us.
Happy to be here. Thanks, Tom.
Doctor, talk a little bit about your background and your area of expertise, if you would.
Sure. My background is I'm an orthopedic surgeon, and I do surgery of the hand, wrist, and elbow. I've been in practice about 8 or 9 years now out of residency, and obviously our group now is newer to the Munster area, but I'm now almost 18 years around the Chicagoland area, so that's kind of the summary of me.
Excellent. Now, do you do most of your surgeries here or in Chicago or both?
So we have multiple locations all around the region. Our group goes as far west in the western suburbs as the Oak Park, Oak Brook area. We have locations downtown. We work through the Munster Specialty Surgical Center here as well.
Okay, very good. Now you said your specialty is primarily in the hand and elbow?
Hand, wrist, and elbow primarily, yes.
Now, do most of the injuries or problems arise from sports? Is that where they come from?
It's really a mix within hand, wrist, and elbow, which is actually one of the things that drove me to that specialty. It's probably about 30 to 40% trauma, with the other 60 to 70% being degenerative conditions like arthritis, tendonitis, overuse conditions. So it's a nice mix, which is one of the things, honestly, that drew me to it. It's a lot of young patients, old patients, ages in the middle, which I think is kind of a nice thing about it.
Very good. Are there any preventative measures that could be taken for some of these injuries that you might see?
Yeah, it's a wide range. I mean, I think it's an important thing to use appropriate protective equipment. We recently did a campaign called Skate Safe, where we approached skate parks and tried to talk about the appropriate protective equipment. A lot of it is knowing your own limits. If it's things like skiing, rock climbing, skateboarding, not getting into environments that you're not ready for if you don't have the right skill level. And then I think for a lot of the overuse conditions, it's identifying the conditions when they start and intervening with rest and support splints or anti-inflammatories at the right time so you can heal it early. Because if you let it carry on too far, just like much in medicine, things get harder to fix or correct when they've been going on a longer time.
Now, you mentioned the skate parks. You know, I see these kids out all the time, and it seems like there'd be a lot of injuries from that. Where do you see the most injuries come from?
Around here in the summertime, skateboarding is a relatively big one. A lot of times it's falling while either running or biking, especially on a crowded path. The classic is like the lakefront path out in Chicago, but just a lot of public shared paths when you have people moving at different speeds. You have rollerbladers, you have walkers, you have a family walking hand in hand, and someone's going by 25 miles an hour on a bike. So I think if you're going to be in that type of environment, you want to be very careful of your surroundings, because oftentimes the problem isn't you, it's maybe whether a car or another pedestrian was kind of in your way, or just try to avoid the crowded areas if you're a cyclist, for example, and just go on an open 2-lane road where things are a lot more predictable. Very good.
Now, in terms of the surgeries themselves, there have been a lot of advancements, have there not been, to where maybe people can come in and go home a lot quicker?
Yeah, there have been, and that's one of the nice things about hand, wrist, and elbow surgeries. We can do almost all of our surgeries as an outpatient. Even if we're talking a 3 to 4 hour elbow operation, a lot of times those patients can go home because they're done with a regional anesthetic where the anesthesiologist just numbs the arm, so you're breathing on your own, it's safe for your heart and lungs. And we use a tourniquet, which is like a blood pressure cuff, so there's minimal or no bleeding during the operations. So we can get a lot of work done, even if it takes a while, and patients can usually go home. Probably 98 to 99% of our surgeries that we do with the hand, wrist, and elbow.
That's fabulous. Now, I also understand that you appear on NBC5 Sports once a week. Is that correct?
I was on last night. Don't know if anyone saw, probably not. But no, our group has been solicited to work with the injury reports for the network when they report on injuries within the Chicago sports teams on their NBC Sports Sunday. So different physicians are profiled each week, and I was on just last night.
So now
Did you stay up and see me?
Well, I didn't actually, but had I known, so now you can say that you've been on 2 major media outlets, the NBC5 Sports Show and the Munster Chamber Chat. So that's terrific.
24 hours. It's a good start to the week. Yeah.
How's it feel? Good?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Thanks.
Well, there you have it, Dr. Robert Wysocki from Midwest Orthopaedics at Rush, but right here in Munster, Indiana. So you don't have to travel to Chicago anymore for some of these things. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's true. And I'll just say we're very happy to be here. Has it been almost 2 years? It's maybe been almost 2 years. It's been, and it was a long time coming. You know, we've always really enjoyed, honestly, taking care of the Northwest Indiana patients when they'd come to Chicago, which they were oftentimes willing to do to see us. They were just very, very good people, I think, good caring, compliant folks when we'd see them, and we were happy to come out and service them because it was really a group of patients we wanted to see more and more through our practice. So it's been good.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Doctor. You're doing some great work here. We sure appreciate that. Tom Bialik back with you one more time here at Midwest Orthopaedics at Rush. We're with Lynn Hawkins, the operations manager at Midwest. Hi, Lynn. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Lynn, talk about your background a little bit. Where are you from?
I am from Maryville, Indiana, and I have been with Midwest Orthopaedics now in Munster for nearly 2 years, and this is a great place to work.
What makes it so great, Lynn?
The professionals here are top-notch. We have doctors that have been in the business for over 30 or 40 years.
Tom Bialik back here one more time. We're here with Dr. Brian Forsythe. Welcome, Doctor.
Thank you so much. Happy to be here.
Doctor, talk a little bit about your area of expertise.
My area of expertise is sports medicine. So I do a lot of arthroscopic shoulder, knee, and elbow surgery, as well as shoulder placements. And what I enjoy most is taking care of a wide variety of patients, from young to old. And also I'm heavily involved with care of professional, recreational athletes.
Oh, professional athletes such as?
We take care of the Chicago Fire. I'm the head orthopedic officer for the Chicago Fire, and I work with the Chicago Bulls and the Chicago White Sox as well.
Oh, very good. What are some of the most common sports injuries that you see?
Most common injuries, I'd say, about the knee, ACL tears, meniscus tears are quite common nowadays. And with shoulders, we see instability, we see rotator cuff tears. And with the elbow, we get kids with ligament sprains, and we get tendonitis as well. Lots of overuse injuries around the elbow.
Any preventative measures that people can take to maybe avoid some of these injuries?
That's a great question. A lot of these injuries are secondary to overuse. So if you're a baseball or softball player, you want to adhere to pitch counts. If you're a soccer player or a football player, you want to do drills, activities like plyometrics and jump training drills, which can actually decrease your injury rates by up to 40 or 50%. So prevention is a hallmark of what we do. And there are many guidelines and such online as far as what athletes should be doing. It can direct them to use their time most efficiently.
Excellent. Now, Doctor, in terms of your practice here in Indiana, how long have you been here?
I've been here I've been operating here for almost 3 years. Just next door, there's a surgery center that I frequent, and the office opens. It's about a year and a half ago, in January of 2016. So time flies, but I think we've got a pretty good presence here, and we've really enjoyed our work with the community.
Terrific. Doctor, if you would talk about maybe some of the other services offered here at Midwest Orthopaedics.
Definitely. So we pretty much offer the full spectrum of orthopedic services, everything from pediatric to orthopedic oncology. Of course, we have spine surgeons, joint replacement surgeons, sports medicine specialists, hand surgeons, and foot and ankle surgeons. The list goes on and on. But if it's a musculoskeletal condition, you name it, we've got someone here who's certainly qualified to take care of it at the highest level.
So state-of-the-art treatment that would normally be received at Rush in the city can now be received right here in Munster, Indiana. Is that correct?
That's right. It's in your backyard. We love being here. It's really been a pleasure, and not having to fight the traffic is a big plus.
Absolutely. Well, there you have it. Some great things happening right here at Midwest Orthopaedics at Rush in Munster, Indiana. Dr. Forsythe, thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thanks for having me.